Yeah, we've gone from Sacramento to Kansas City and now here to Phoenix, Arizona. Enough time to, dump the suitcase out, get the dry cleaning done. It's kind of different doing this live shot because I'm kind of squinting a little bit because there's a thing in the sky. It's called the sun. It's about 70-something degrees here, so we're good. We even ditched the tie. It was too hot to kind of conserve the neck. So we've been here now at the University of Phoenix Stadium. Remember, the national championship, the Oregon football team played against Auburn was here. Their Fiesta Bowl game was here with K-State. Seahawks against the Patriots in Super Bowl 49, and now the first time this building is going to host that Final Four. Again, the first time the Ducks have been this far in 78 years. Those tall firs, well, they arrived to their site via train. Of course, the Ducks now on a plane. Back then, the Webfoots played in front of about 7,000. This gym is going to hold upwards of 75,000 for those games on Saturday. We had a chance to get a look inside, a little sneak peek. Couldn't quite get everything the teams were out practicing on the floor, but it is pretty massive. The teams got their first look at the deep dimensions of the home now, the Arizona Cardinals of the NFL. We got our chance to chat with the combatants over the next hour. Oregon into the Final Four, the first Pac-12 team since '08. Title game will be on Monday. This will be the first time the Final Four has been out west since before they imploded the Kingdom. That was back in 1995 when they played that. And despite the longest drought between Final Four appearances in the nation, the University of Oregon has the second most now at 2 for the teams that are here. Gonzaga and South Carolina earned their first time here. They'll meet in Game 1 Saturday just after 3 o'clock. The Ducks in North Carolina should tip around 6 on Saturdays. The Tar Heels have been in the spot in the Final Four 20 times now. Of course, top-seeded UNC is favored over the third-seeded Ducks, but those Midwest regional champs were also underdogs in hammering Kansas by 14 points a week ago in KC. We'll be back later in this show with some of the Gonzaga-Portland ties. Of course, their head coach, Mark Few's been there for 8 years. He's from Cresswell, a U of O alum. He was tried to get pulled away from Spokane to Eugene years ago. Didn't happen. They got Dana Altman, Silas Melson, a state champ at Jefferson, and Nigel Williams-Goss, their WCC Player of the Year, their real true star for Gonzaga. He's from Happy Valley. We'll chat with those guys in a matter of moments and bring that to you later on in this show, and then be live throughout the night at the Ducks. We'll be here for their practice about 1 o'clock. We'll have that tonight on the news at 5. For now, live outside the University of Phoenix Stadium at the Final Four and the sunshine. Nick Krupke, Fox 12 Oregon.
Andrew, thanks so much. We turn our attention now as we get ready for the Final Four. The Oregon Ducks are making their first appearance in the Final Four since 1939. And two of the other teams, Gonzaga and South Carolina, have never gone to the Final Four before. Fox 12's Nick Krupke is live in Glendale, Arizona with more and some sunshine too, Nick. Man, look at that.
Yeah, it feels pretty good. You know, a lot of people maybe on the East Coast, they want to see that all Carolina, North and South on Monday in the national championship. But on this side, of course, how about Oregon and Gonzaga, a little border war? Washington, Oregon, of course, the Zags out of Spokane making their first ever Final Four. There's a Portland flavor as well. Silas Melson, who's a state champ at Jefferson High School, he's there. He comes off the bench, one of their main key players. And their star, their guard, Nigel Williams-Goss, he transferred this year from University of Washington in Seattle. He's from Happy Valley, played his high school ball at a prep school in Las Vegas. Had a chance just moments ago to talk to both guys about that West Coast connection.
This has got to be wild. I mean, a state championship at Jeff is pretty cool, but this is unique.
Yeah, nothing compares to a Final Four appearance. I mean, first time here ever. You know, after 3 years, made it to the second weekend twice, get to the third one. I mean, it feels amazing.
Yeah, and when you were growing up in Portland, too, I mean, you saw everything that Gonzaga basketball is about, but a lot of the tough luck losses, Elite Eight, never this far, and people said, like, they're not a national championship contender. You guys are.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, it feels amazing just growing up, knowing Gonzaga culture, knowing that they've never been here, and then having a bunch of guys from the Northwest on this roster right now that made it to the Final Four. It's a great feeling.
How do you keep it grounded? I mean, you walk into that stadium, and it's going to seat 75,000-something people in there. I mean, it's a massive backdrop.
You got to embrace it. I mean, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You never know you're going to have this again. So, I mean, you got to embrace all 75,000 people that's going to be out there and just have fun with it.
How do you keep your feet on the ground at something like that? I mean, it's wild to look around when this place is going to be packed on Saturday.
It's wild. It's very wild. It's a sold-out crowd, loud as ever. But, I mean, keep your head straight, stay focused for your task at hand, and like I said, just embrace it and have fun with it.
Two West Coast teams, two Pacific Northwest teams are here in this middle.
Yeah, it's great. I think it's been a while since, a West Coast team has taken home the championship. I think Arizona was the last team to do it, and I think the last West Coast team or Pac-12 team to get to the Final Four was UCLA back when Coach Allen was there. So it's great for West Coast basketball to have two teams in the Final Four, and I honestly hope that one of us takes home the championship.
Yeah, growing up, I mean, Happy Valley and moving all around and doing the UW thing, I mean, you knew that this potential was here at Gonzaga to just keep building on it.
Yeah, for sure. I think the day I stepped on campus and kind of we saw all the pieces that we had in place, we knew our goal needed to be Phoenix. If it wasn't, we were selling ourselves short. So it's just kind of crazy that we had this goal and we had this vision for ourselves. But just a credit to us for buying in and understanding that it was going to take a lot of hard work. And it's cool to see the fruits of our labor paying off.
Friends back home in Portland, Happy Valley, they kind of split between you guys and the Ducks, or what's up?
All my friends is Zag fans, so if it's split between us and the Ducks, then it's not really my friends. So, all my friends and family is riding with the Zags and really supportive.
Any Duck fan, no fan of Nigel Williams-Goss, who a guy, if he plays well in the tournament, could certainly be a high first-round pick in the upcoming NBA draft if he chooses to leave school early as well. Oregon will be taking the floor in about the next half an hour to an hour. We'll talk with those guys and have it for you tonight on the news at 5 o'clock. For now, live in Glendale, Arizona at the NCAA men's basketball tournament, of course, the Final Four, the national semifinals. We're all preparing for Saturday's game. Nick Krupke, Fox 12 Oregon.
You know who else is there? Fox 12's Nick Krupke. Nick joins us live from Glendale, Arizona, the site of this weekend's Final Four and the culmination of the NCAA men's basketball tournament. Hi there, Nick.
Hey, Liz. Yeah, of course, we were here for the BCS national title game at the University of Phoenix Stadium, here for the Fiesta Bowl a couple years later. Seahawks in Super Bowl 49, that wild finish against the Patriots, and now we're here for the Ducks' first Final Four, of course, since the Tall Furs won it all, blown away in 1939. 78 years ago, the Webfoots played in front of maybe 7,000 people. Saturday's national semifinals will be upwards of 75K.
Everything's blocked out. I'm worried about the feel of the court, the opponent. Everything else is blocked out to me. I just worry about the infilling and having that moment.
And the Tall Furs never had video games in the locker room.
On that 6 points.
Big stage, big gym.
We don't want to stop here. We want to win a championship. We want to beat North Carolina, and so that's what we're preparing to do.
This is the first time the Final Four has been out west since 1995, before the Kingdome was imploded. Arizona was the last Pac-12 team to win it all 20 years ago. UCLA, the last school from the Conference of Champions in this spot back in 2008.
It has been a number of years since the Pac-12 has had a representative in the Final Four, so we are mostly proud for the University of Oregon, but we are part of the Pac-12, and that is significant, for our players and our coaching staff.
Casey Benson is a hometown hero. Three-time high school state champ from Tempe is expecting upwards of 100 friends and family in attendance.
Biggest media gathering you've ever drawn?
From what I can remember, yeah.
Top-seeded North Carolina is favored over the third-seeded Ducks on Saturday night, but that's nothing new.
We haven't been the favorite in a lot of games going into this tournament, so we're not worried about it. We're the underdog, and we take that mentality into every game.
Mr. March, Tyler Dorsey, will transform to Mr. April when the calendar flips on Saturday. And Dylan Brooks is out to be legendary.
I want to create my legacy on being the best overall, just being the best team in the whole NCAA. And, that's why guys are playing for this. Just being a legend and, creating your legacy and creating your own brand.
Yeah, if Oregon can get past North Carolina Saturday, they'll be into the title game here on Monday. We'll check out Gonzaga and their Portland ties for those Zags later in the show at 5:30. For now, live at a very windy Glendale, Arizona, side of the Final Four. Nick Krupke, Fox 12 Oregon.
Well, prior to Oregon meeting North Carolina in the national semifinals of the NCAA men's basketball tournament this Saturday will be South Carolina and Gonzaga. Both are playing in their first ever Final Four. Fox 12's Nick Krupke joins us live once again from Glendale, Arizona with a look at the Portland ties to the Zags. Nick?
Yeah, of course, they play in the West Coast Conference, so they come to UP. They sail the bluff out every time. All the alums travel down because you can't get into a game in the Kinley usually. So for the long time, people thought, yeah, Gonzaga, it's a cute little school. It's a nice Cinderella story, but they'll never make the Final Four, never be a national championship competitor. Look at them now. One loss on the season into their first ever Final Four, and they're led by the National Coach of the Year, happens to be an Oregon alum, of course, down from Cresswell. And here they go now in a place where they lost even last year 2 NBA guys, Kyle Wilcher from Jesuit High School and Arvidas' kid, Domantas Sabonis, also in the NBA.
My stance all along was like, you just got to be good enough, and then eventually it's going to happen.
This is happening. Now in his 18th season as head coach in Spokane, Mark Few has turned Gonzaga into the epicenter of college basketball in the Northwest. Not bad for a University of Oregon alum from Cresswell.
Growing up in Cresswell I wish I could have that for my kids. Just take off on your bike, go anywhere. You didn't have to tell anybody. And it was Mayberry.
GU star Nigel Williams-Goss hails from Happy Valley. The one-time Washington Husky has embraced everything about the Jesuit University.
The day I stepped on campus and we saw all the pieces that we had in place, we knew our goal needed to be Phoenix. If it wasn't, we were selling ourselves short.
From Rip City to the Lilac City, Portland's Silas Melson is one of the Zags' first men off the bench.
After 3 years, made it to the second weekend twice to get to the third one. I mean, it feels amazing.
A state champ at Jefferson High School, the former PIL Player of the Year, is soaking up this entire scene.
I embrace it. I mean, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You never know you're going to have this again. So, I mean, you got to embrace all 75,000 people that's going to be out there and just have fun with it.
Friends back home in Portland, Happy Valley, they kind of split between you guys and the Ducks, or what's up?
All my friends is Zag fans, so if it's split between us and the Ducks, then it's not really my friends. So.
Yes, if you're not a Zag fan, no longer to be a friend with Williams-Goss there. Of course, they got the first game in the semifinal. They're no longer just a school where John Stockton graduated from, no longer just a trivia answer. They get the Gamecocks on Saturday at 3 o'clock, Oregon and North Carolina, 40 minutes after that tip. So we could see an All-Pacific Northwest Final Four championship game on Monday. More with the Ducks in the desert tonight at 10 o'clock in their special visit last night from Kobe Bryant. We got that for you later on. Live at the Final Four in Glendale, Arizona. Nick Krupke, Fox 12, Oregon. Basketball brains, I'm totally cool with that. We're live inside of this beautiful floor. We'll play the national semifinals tomorrow. Of course, Oregon, they're not favored against North Carolina, but they haven't been a favorite in the tournament, at least since before that Sweet 16 matchup with Michigan. Yet here they are now, 2 victories away from their second national title in basketball. First, of course, in 78 years. Work to be done, though. First facing that top-seeded team out of North Carolina, those Tar Heels.
Not going to be playing in front of 70,000 all the time, so you got to really take that in.
The Ducks can't help but be caught up in this scene on the big stage in the Dome.
I'm going to have a little butterflies, but not much.
So you finally admitted it then?
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but not much. I don't really get nervous.
A freshman from West Lynn is one cool cat, but this is a whole nother world.
It's great. You're definitely going to survey the environment when you go out there, but during play, I think that's blocked out.
March Madness to April's national semifinals. No fooling. These Ducks are here to take it all.
It's just a once-in-a-lifetime thing, for most people. After this, I might not never see a Final Four. If I go to senior year or if I leave, I might never see a Final Four again.
The men of Oregon are up against a blue blood in UNC.
Big games like this, people tend to let all the emotions out and they're playing faster than what they usually would. And by the second half, you don't have anything left because you gave it all the first half. So we're going to try to just keep it as a regular game, whether we're playing Northwest Christian or Arizona, just try to keep the same kind of emotion.
You need a selfie, Duck. Have trophy, will travel. Handle with care. Delicately.
The trophy was actually broken at the very first NCAA championship game. A player named Bobby Annette dove for a ball out of bounds, just sheared off the top. So it's been broken from the get-go.
It's a tall order, but Oregon is out to match with the tall Furs brought home for the Webfoots in 1939.
I tell my teammates, none of this matters if we don't win it. I don't want this to be a good 3-4 days. I want this to last a lifetime. And, Coach always tells us, if we're national champs, we'll take this to the grave with us, and I want that to happen.
Yeah, life is all about memories, and what a moment for these Ducks now. Tomorrow, they get North Carolina about 6. It's the second game of the day. Of course, Gonzaga and South Carolina first, just after 3 o'clock here. Inside this, humongous dome. It's going to hold 75,000 people here. Live in Glendale, Arizona, on the eve of the Final Four. Nick Krupke, Fox 12, Oregon. Guys like Jordan Bell, Dylan Ennis, they left their heart on the floor. They're just ripped out there in the locker room, about as a bum that I've seen a locker room in quite some time. Understandably so, losing by 1 point away from even getting a chance to potentially go play for that national championship. They tried to channel, of course, those Webfoots back from 1939, the tall Furs that won that lone NCAA championship in Oregon men's basketball history. But in the end, a too tall of a task to answer against the top-seeded Tar Heels out of UNC. No question, that's what we were trying to convince these guys too. I mean, it's really hard and really despondent, really just gut-wrenching for them to be so close. But, they were counted out after Chris Boucher blew his knee out, their top shot blocker, rebounder, three-point marksman, lanky kid off the bench, a senior, not going to play a game again. But just the way, you go from being defeated and deflated, but you have to look back on what this team was able to do, and some of the guys were reflective. The hard part, I think, is really just that, it's so far away to get back to this point. They put in so much work to get here. You never know if you ever get back here, but they got a lot of talent coming back. So some of the guys, they had a chance to say, yeah, it was a nice run. Not quite enough, but it was certainly a fun run.
We got to see who comes back next year. We got a lot of talented guys, so if they stay, we can make a run. But if they don't stay, we got to still get in the gym, get better, and make a run. Because experiencing this, we're gonna want it more. We're not gonna settle for anything less.
It's very hard to get back to this point as a team, because things change year by year, so you never know what's gonna happen. So it's definitely harder to get back than to do it first.
It's going to be a long 6 months, being away from the game and, working and, waiting for the season to come back. And, that's the time, you got to work on your game and, work on your craft.
Definitely one of those days where it seems so far away now. When it's over, it's over, So, yeah, it's definitely, just going to focus on appreciating what we did this year.
I'm just glad they could experience it, whoever comes back, especially our freshmen, it shows them what they have to reach for, Unfortunately, I didn't have that, I haven't been this far in my career, and, even for me as a six-year senior, it's still unbelievable that, I was able to play on this stage, and, for them, let all of them have a bright future, and I hope them the best, and hopefully they can experience this again and, win it all.
Yeah, certainly a great leader there in Dylan Ennis, a six-year senior, 25-year-old man. Really words of encouragement, really kind of bring that spirit up in the locker room. They get a program record, 33 wins, of course, back-to-back Pac-12 regular season championships. A lot of great talent coming back, a lot of great freshman class rolling in, too. The big question now, does Bell, does Brooks, does Dorsey, do they return? Do they maybe jump now to the NBA? That's the word we're waiting on now. The guys said they weren't ready for it quite yet. Oregon, though, one game shy of that national title game, but it will be Gonzaga, North Carolina, Monday at 6. We'll be here live all weekend as well with Oregon Sports Final tomorrow at 11 o'clock. For now, live at the Final Four in Glendale, Nick Krupke, Fox 12, Oregon. Andy, back out to you. Well, welcome into Glendale, Arizona side of the Final Four. Nick Krupke here on Oregon Sports Finals. We prepare now, of course, for North Carolina and Gonzaga.
The top comes off. See like that?
Yes.
Yeah. The funny story about this is that the trophy was actually broken at the very first NCAA championship game. A player named Bobby Annette dove for a ball out of bounds, just sheared off the top. So it's been broken from the get-go. At the museum, when they restored it, they literally had to clean off the glue. There's some supports actually inside the trophy so that it still stays together in one piece. But, one shot, a loose basketball, it's over. It's very fragile. Obviously, it's 78 years old. We've had it restored by the Jordan Stinson Museum of Art. They did a great job doing that. The fella has been broken off at the top more times than we know. We're lucky that he's still together. So we have to give him kind of the white glove treatment while he's down here. But happy to have him back here, first time in 78 years.
It's certainly cool to see that Tall Furs national championship back from 1939. Also cool this weekend to catch up with Terry Porter, the first-year head coach of those Portland Pilots. He's coached against Gonzaga. He gave us his take on the big matchup.
It's awesome. It really is. I mean, obviously, the Pacific Northwest don't get enough attention, and so it's great to have collegiate basketball on a national stage and platform like this and draw more attention to that area.
Watching Altman's Ducks on the Bluff, Porter admires what Dana has built in his 7 years in Eugene.
There's no doubt, California, Arizona get enough of it, but, you're talking about more Pacific Northwest, we don't get as much, and so it's great to see two teams and see the coaches have the type of success and see the kids be able to really, all the hard work they put into it to kind of reap some of those benefits.
Elite Pilots saw what Gonzaga is all about twice during UP's West Coast Conference season.
They're a powerhouse in the WCC, but they'd be a pretty good team in any conference. I think they're just so balanced. They're inside, outside, they have size, they have athleticism, they have speed. And so from that standpoint, they're going to be a tough out.
And how about that? I mean, they lose two guys in the draft, Sabonis and Wiltshire, and they're in the Final Four for the first time.
Well, again, it's just to Mark and his staff, what they've been able to, continue to recruit, and they've been able to identify the right kids that fit their needs. And you know, as I'm finding out, recruiting is one of the hardest things there is. And so from that standpoint, he's done such a tremendous job over the years of being able to continue to, you know, reload with the right type of players that fit his system very well. And you know, they've been able to get NBA players, you know, over the last 5 years here and still be able to attract a type of student athlete that continues the tradition and continues their playing at a high level.
The red shirts come off, Malcolm and Franklin. How cool is that going to be to actually coach your kids in a game?
Yeah, I don't know if cool is the right word at this point. We'll see. Obviously, I'm excited about being a part of this journey of their life. I mean, they both have, from day one, talked about wanting to play D1 basketball, and they've reached that level. And never in my wildest dream thought I would be their coach when they got here. But it will be exciting, and obviously there will be, just like anything, there'll be some bumps along the way. But hopefully further down the road we can look back at this experience of just being one of those that, you know, not many fathers, sons could say they were able to be involved with. And hopefully it's a great experience for me, a great experience for them, and we're able to get some wins and get to some postseason events and make it a lot of fun.
That should be fun. TP also having fun on Sundays playing a celebrity basketball game. Told me he's only a spot-up shooter these days, no driving to the cup. Still to come, she's in her hometown and now an Oregon State graduate. Beaver great now. Sydney Weiss, one-on-one. We come back on OSF. Well, Oregon's Casey Benson was kind of playing tour guide back at his home. He's from Tempe, but also Phoenix's Sydney Weiss on spring break, now an Oregon State graduate.
I'm amazed that I'm an alum now. I mean, 4 years go by so fast.
Now an Oregon State graduate in speech communication, Beaver great Sydney Weiss was back home in Phoenix on spring break.
To have some time off, sort of reflect on what we were able to do at Oregon State the past 4 years before taking on whatever is next. So I'm just chilling in Arizona.
The Pac-12's all-time leader in three-pointers made just fell short in the finals of the NCAA women's shootout at a sold-out Grand Canyon University.
These are the glory days, right? So it's fun to be able to say that I spent my time, my 4 years with incredible people who really made this journey special. Looking back at pictures, knowing that that's my family for life, I'm definitely fortunate.
A living legend in Corvallis, we saw her record-breaking OSU career come to a close last weekend in the Sweet 16.
Honestly, we have no regrets. It was an unreal year for us, incredible. A lot of people counted us out, but I think that we bought in, we had fun with it, we competed hard, and we made a lot of memories up there in Corvallis.
Now Sid the Kid will await the WNBA draft in mid-April.
There's another trainer that I'm going to be working with speed and agility, trying to get some meat on these bones here before getting into the pros. And
You gotta go Beavs?
Go Beavs. Go Beavs forever.
Yeah, go Beavs forever, of course. They ran to the Sweet 16. The Oregon women made their first ever Elite 8 run before losing to UConn, who then had their 111-game win streak snapped at the buzzer by Mississippi State. South Carolina winning that women's national championship today. The Ducks coached in the third year by Kelly Graves, who also coached at Gonzaga. This weekend in town, it's certainly been fun.
When they succeed, you know, we feel like we succeed, and I know that our games helped inspire them. So just kind of a neat couple of weeks at the University of Oregon.
I'm in heaven. I have my 3 boys with me, my wife. We're fans this weekend of 2 teams. I told the boys they could wear their Zag T-shirts for the first game, rip them off, and wear the Duck stuff in the second. So we're in heaven. I've seen so many friends, you know, from Spokane and obviously all the Ducks. We were hanging out at the hotel last night. It's like a dream come true. This is a great time for our family.
He's a happy guy, as many are here. Championship Monday coming up. UNC and Gonzaga just after 6. We'll see you next time on Oregon Sports Final.